2005 is the next question we're going to discuss under energy and work. An object of mass m moving on a frictionless plane passes a point x with a velocity v and rises up a frictionless inclined plane to a point y that is at a height h. I think this should be h above at a h above x as shown in the figure. This should be h. If the second object of mass m by 2 passes the point x with velocity v by 2, the height to which the second object will rise to. Okay, now you have to do this question carefully. I'm going to consider two diagrams. Let's start the first case. An object of mass m is moving and then it reaches the maximum height here. And we know at this point the velocity of that is going to be 0. All right. So if you take this as your zero potential level, you can say kinetic energy at x should be equal to gravitational potential energy at y. That's it. What is the kinetic energy at x? That is half mv squared, and the gravitational potential energy at y, it's mgh. That's mgh. Therefore, the relationship between v squared and this, okay, h, I think we will need the relationship for h, but anyways, I'll write like this: v squared is equal to 2gh. That's the first thing. Now, the same setup, but they are going to change the mass and velocity as well. Same setup. Okay. So, right, same thing. And I'm going to take the same level as my zero potential level. Now, the object has mass m by 2, whereas its initial velocity is v by 2. And they are asking to which height it's going to reach. So, we don't know the new height. Let's say this point is x and the new point is z now. We don't know. I'll take that new height as h naught. So we have to find h naught in terms of h. That's how the equation goes. Right, here again we can say kinetic energy at x is equal to potential energy at y. Right, what is the kinetic energy at x? Half into m by 2 into v by 2 square. And what is the gravitational potential energy at y? M by 2 into g into h naught. Careful, mass is m by 2 now. It's not m, it's m by 2, and at the final point the velocity will be 0. It's not y, sorry, it's z, right? The new point where it comes to rest. You can cancel out m by 2 from either side, m by 2 from either side. Therefore, you will be getting an equation like this. What is that? On the left hand side, we are getting v squared by 8, and on the right hand side, I'm getting gh naught. Therefore, v squared is equal to 8gh naught. So I have two equations for v squared, 1 and 2. You can equate them. 1 is equal to 2. And yeah, you can see it's 2gh equals 8gh naught. Therefore, h naught is equal to g and g can be cancelled out. I think it's h by 4. If you simplify it, you can get h by 4. So the answer for this question should be the second one. The majority of kids who will make a mistake is this part, where you forget to put m by 2 here. Sometimes, like the potential energy, we say mgh always. Therefore, by mistakenly, sometimes you might substitute mgh instead of m by 2. You have to be careful here. If you substitute m and m here, then you are on the safe side, because anyway it's going to get cancelled out. But if you substitute differently, then you might be in a bit of a trouble. So you have to be a little careful. You can, yeah. So answer is second. Next question is again from 2005. The object A of mass m and velocity u moving on a smooth horizontal surface along positive x direction makes a perfectly elastic collision. So when they say perfectly elastic collision, what it means is no loss of energy. There shouldn't be any loss of energy. With an identical object B is at rest. Identical object. All right. So this is just before the collision. And for such situations, what happens is after the collision, since both the objects are identical and one of the object is at rest and one of the object is moving, once the collision takes place, the object which was moving initially will come to rest and its entire energy will be given to the other object. So A will eventually come to rest and B will be moving at the same speed u. That's because both have same mass. This is how a perfectly elastic collision happens. This is before and after collisions. Hope that is clear. Yeah. So this is how it happens. So the answer that would be first one. Without much of a doubt, we can settle to first one. And yeah, that's it. That is how perfectly elastic collision between two identical objects happen. Right. I'll rest my case for you. Next question is from year 2006. A wooden block of mass m is sliding down an inclined plane at constant speed v, at constant speed. So if at the top it had a velocity of v, not yeah, velocity, never mind, we can say velocity because the direction doesn't change, right? So when it reaches the bottom also, it will have the same velocity v, m. From a height h above the ground as shown in the figure. The total energy dissipated due to friction, by the time the block reaches the bottom of the plane is, right. So I'll take this as the top part. This is the top of the plane and this is the bottom of the plane. Right, interesting. Now the object is sliding down at constant speed. Therefore, at top and bottom, it will have the same kinetic energy. And let's take this as our zero potential level. One thing you have to understand, this is possible only if the plane is rough. So it has friction. It's a rough plane. It has friction. And whenever there is friction on a rough surface, when an object moves, we know energy will be dissipated due to friction. Now, how do you apply law of conservation of energy for this? This is how you do that. Now, if you take the initial point at top, you have kinetic energy at top plus gravitational potential energy is also there at top. All right, fine. That is the total energy we have here. And what will happen to that energy when the block comes to the bottom? When the block comes to the bottom, it will have kinetic energy at the bottom because it has a speed. It will not have any gravitational potential energy, and out of this total energy, a part of that energy will be used to perform work against friction. So they are energy dissipated due to friction. Energy dissipated due to friction. The remaining energy. Hope you all understood this. Initially at top, we have both potential energy and kinetic energy. At the bottom, we have only kinetic energy as the remaining mechanical energy. So there was an additional energy, and that energy is the energy which was lost. Kinetic energy at top is half mv squared. Wait, sorry, half mv squared. Potential energy at the top is mgh. And the kinetic energy at the bottom is also half mv squared because it's the same speed. Plus, this is what we are supposed to find out. I'll take it as x or E, energy dissipated due to friction. I'll put EF, energy dissipated due to friction. Now, half mv squared can be cancelled out. Therefore, energy dissipated due to friction finally will be mgh. Mgh is going to be equal to energy dissipated due to friction. So, the answer is 4. Next question is from 2007, the 23rd question from 2007. Let's see, let's go ahead. They have given a diagram like this and some stuff here. As shown in the figure, a ball of mass 6 kilogram released from rest at point A on a smooth track ABCD slips without rolling. Released from rest at point A. So the object is here initially, and its initial velocity is z. Right. The portion DE of the track is rough. This portion DE, this is the rough part. This is the rough part. If the ball climbs until, I think it should be until a vertical height of 3 meters along the rough surface, the energy lost due to friction. We have to find out energy lost due to friction. All right. So whenever you do energy questions, you have to always focus on the starting point and the finishing point. That's enough. This is where we started, A, and E is where we are ending the motion. So this is the start, and this is where the motion ends. Ends in the sense, yeah, this is until this we have to consider. Right. So what the best practice would be to consider the lowest point. comparing with the starting and finishing point as the zero potential level. If I draw this correctly, I should have drawn it like this. Actually, the circle, if you draw it, it should be like this. Now I am considering from the bottom of the sphere, so here also it should be from the bottom of the sphere like this. Right, 3 meters. Fine. Anyways, zero, that is a zero potential level. So if this is a zero potential level, the height I need to worry about is this 1 meter. You can take this also as your zero potential level, no problem, but there's no point in that. I'm going to take this as my zero potential level. Therefore, I can assume that the gravitational potential energy here is zero. Now, yeah, true. It's from the ground. It's at 3 meter height. Absolutely fine. But if I take the ground as the zero potential level, then it will have kinetic energy with respect to the ground. Sorry, it will have potential energy with respect to the ground. But I have taken this level as my zero potential level. Therefore, here the gravitational potential energy can be considered as zero. Okay, right. And its velocity is also zero. Keep that in mind. Its velocity is also zero because it's not moving. Initially also velocity is zero. Here also velocity is zero because it stops here. Therefore, I will write an equation, see if you can understand. We initially at A, we have gravitational potential energy. So I can say gravitational potential energy at A. Do we have that? Yes. Do we have kinetic energy at A? No, nothing else. Equal to, if you go to point E, which is the final point of this motion, gravitational potential energy is zero because that is the zero potential level. Kinetic energy is also zero. So what happened to this energy? It can't just get lost according to law of conservation of energy. It says energy cannot be destroyed nor created, but it can be converted to other forms. So here what happens is at A, with respect to this zero potential level, this is the only energy we have. At B, there's no energy. It seems like there's no energy. So this energy is lost. That is this energy that is completely converted to energy lost due to friction. All right. So gravitational potential energy should be mgh equal to energy lost due to friction. I'll just put it as EF. M is 6, G is 10, and for height you have to carefully put 1. It's 1 meter from the zero potential level, and that is the energy lost due to friction. And I think the final answer is 60 joules. That's the fourth answer. You can choose the zero potential level wherever you want. No problem with that. To clarify this part, this velocity 0, the question says if the ball climbs until a vertical height of 3 meters, that means it climbs up to this point and then it will come back down. That means for a moment, its velocity is 0 at that point. So kinetic energy is 0.